Good afternoon and welcome to today's lunch break with the Rabbi. Interesting to note, Facebook reminds you every so often of what you've done a year ago, 2 years ago, or maybe multiple times. And today it reminded me that just a year ago is when we began lunch break with the Rabbi. This is our 1 year anniversary to our lunch break with the rabbis. It started off on Facebook Live, then on YouTube, where first recorded messages. And thank God everybody's able to watch it and listen to it live and recorded later as well. Today is Thursday, March 25th, 2021. It is the 12th day of Nisan. There are 3 days left for Passover, and today we are going to talk about Passover. Imagine somebody were to tell you American history without mentioning George Washington's name, Abraham Lincoln's name, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, or any of the people may have been part of the Constitution or integral part to the founding fathers of this country. What would you say? You're probably a revisionist, you couldn't care about history, or nothing to mention about any of these special people. Same too, if we would apply, and somebody reads the story of the Haggadah, and reading the Haggadah on the Passover night, there's one or two glaring people that are actually not mentioned in the Haggadah. And no, it's not me. It's not Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. It's actually Moses and Aaron are not mentioned in the Haggadah. Imagine that you talk about the Exodus of Egypt. You talk about the time when the Jewish people left after being enslaved for 210 years. And the person who, so to speak, did it all, or the two people who were leading the Jews at their helm, are not even mentioned in the whole story of the Haggadah. Nowhere in the Haggadah do we find any mention of Moses and Aaron. In fact, the only place that we do find Moses' name mentioned is only in a verse attributed to the fact that the Jewish people believed that God was going to take them across the Red Sea. It says they believed in, and quoting a verse in the book of Exodus, it says that they believed in Moses and believed in God and Moses as servant. Why is there no mention of Moses and Aaron in the Haggadah? And this is the question that any child reading the Haggadah will ask and say, take any other holiday. You talk about the holiday of Hanukkah, we say in the V'ala Nisam, in the special prayer that's mentioned on Hanukkah, in the days of Matasyahu and his sons. Look in the days of Purim, we say in the days of Mordechai and Esther. In every single holiday, there's a little bit of credit attributed to the leaders of the Jewish people at the time that helped and guided them through those times. Why over here today, when it comes to the festival of Passover, is there nothing mentioned about Moses and Aaron? Well, Kabbalistically, there is some type of mention, which is, if you will notice, that one of the things that we do by the Passover Seder is the fact that we break the middle matzah. Each one of the matzahs symbolize another tribe of the Jewish people, another segment of the Jewish people. The top one is the Kohen, the middle one is the Levi, and the bottom one is the Israelite. Moses was from the Levite. Moses was hidden, and therefore that's symbolic to Moses, the middle matzah. But there is no clear, definitive way of showing and attributing to who Moses was in the Haggadah, in the story of Passover. And the explanation that is given, in some cases, a simple explanation, some want to suggest that maybe Moses was the author of the Haggadah, and therefore he didn't write his name. But mysticism takes it a step further. Hasidic teachings teach us and say, what is the Exodus of Egypt? The Exodus of Egypt was not because of one individual. The Exodus of Egypt was not because of a particular person who did something or changed the reality. In fact, if you look at the Exodus of Egypt, it was something unique. The Jewish people and the Egyptians at the time, you could have said they were unequal. In fact, the angels above said, these are idolaters, these are idolaters. Why are the Jewish people going out of Egypt? Why do they get the whole fanfare and get to split across the splitting of the sea? If they're behaving almost identical to their Egyptian partners. The Jewish people were assimilated, were sunk into the greatest impurities of Egypt. What saved them? It wasn't Moses, it wasn't Aaron, it wasn't one particular individual. In fact, the Exodus of Egypt showed that regardless of how low a Jew may sink, God will always be there to lift them up. God will be there to take them out. As we read by the 10th plague, God says, and it was I, not an angel, not a seraph. It was I who leaped over the homes of the Jewish people and took the Jewish people out of Egypt. It was through God that every single step of this manifestation happened. You know, in many Jewish communities around the world, they read the Song of Songs on Passover. Song of Songs is King Solomon's love story of the relationship between God and the Jewish people, where we call God, or God calls the Jewish people, his bride, his love, his wife, his sister, all different types of terms of endearment. Because this festival of Passover, the reading of the Haggadah, is symbolic of the unbroken chain and connection and the integral connection that the Jewish people have with God. That regardless of what happens, regardless where a Jew may be, he will always be able to come back, to leave that level of impurity and always have a relationship with God. A Jew, not he wants and nor he can sever the relationship that he has with God. The words of the first Chabad Rebbe. The exodus of Egypt symbolized just that. That regardless of whatever level of impurity a Jew was in, it wasn't a Moses. It was a relationship that every Jew had a Moses within them. Every Jew has a Moses. Every Jew has that relationship with God, that prophecy, that understanding, that appreciation, that connection with God. It's only a matter of uncovering it, realizing it, and identifying it. The exodus of Egypt identified within every single Jew that connection and relationship they have with God. This is the story of Exodus that we read on the night of Passover. This is the story of Exodus that our sages tell us that in every generation, every day that we have to remember. This is the freedom that we identify with and celebrate. A freedom which is always there. A freedom which is telling the Jew, regardless what you've done, regardless where you've been, regardless what you've accomplished, your relationship with God can never be severed. And it is God himself who craves that relationship. It is God himself who gives you the opportunities to have that relationship. Every single one of us has a Moses within us, asking and telling us it's time to leave Egypt. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a happy and healthy kosher Passover. May we all identify with the Moses within us and feel and appreciate true freedom and come to appreciate our true connection that we have with God. And while we eat the matzah on the first night of Pesach, as the Zohar tells us, the matzah is fruit of faith. And on the matzah on the second night of Pesach is fruit of healing, because faith leads to healing. When we have faith in God, we are healed spiritually and physically. May all of us have an absolute wonderful Passover and healed physically and spiritually, that we feel and see and share together that wonderful time, the festival of freedom, freedom from this exile, and we reunited together with Mashiach. May it be now. Amen. God bless you. Have a wonderful Passover. If you need any questions, or if you have any questions about Passover, feel free to call me, text me, or message me, or you can check out our website, jewishally.com/Passover, for all your Passover needs and questions. Wishing you the very best, a happy and healthy Passover. Looking forward to seeing you again soon on Lunch Break with the Rabbi. Have a happy Passover, a good Shabbos, and only the best.